And we are live. So, hello everybody, once again. This is Sanket, and I welcome you all into today's session where we will go ahead and talk about predicting the future using data analytics. This session is very close to me because this is more or less what defines data science, the power what it possesses, and how can anybody use the power of data science in order to go ahead and make predictions. Now, I have a very special guest today for this session. He is Himanshu Galot, who is joining us from all the way from Australia. Thank you, Himanshu, first of all, for joining us. I understand it's late at night at your place, but thank you for taking out time on a Saturday evening, for all our learners today. So today's session is more or less going to be about how you can predict data science, how other companies are doing it. And I'm not going to go ahead and waste a lot of time. I will go ahead and pass on the mic straight away to him so that he can go ahead and get this journey kickstarted. Himanshu, the mic is yours. Everything is yours. You can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, thank you, Sanket. Thank you for that. Thank you for introducing me. So, hi guys. Hope you can hear me, Sanket. Is my voice clear?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great, great. So, hi guys. I believe everybody is good. Okay, so let's get started. Before we start, do you means anybody has any kind of a question? What we are going to discuss today, or shall we right jump into the? Okay, there's a lot of okay. People are still joining. Sanket, do you think we should start, or should we wait?
Yes, Himanshu, you can start.
Okay, guys. So just a second. Yep. Sanket, if there is any question, please do let me know. Okay, I cannot see that.
Everything is good. You can get started.
Okay. So hi. Yeah. Today, this whole session is about predicting the future, and as you guys are might aware, like in the present scenario, how the AI is overtaking everything, not just not just IT jobs. It's every job which AI is overtaking on. So, just a brief review about myself, what I did. So, basically, I have been in this industry from last 8 years, and predominantly I am working in the NLP region. And my work has been like in the NLP side more, focusing, identifying various problems regarding the business processes and whatever be the realm you can think of in the NLP region, I have touched all of them predominantly, be it the classification, be it identifying the issues in the issues in the text, and be it in the problems of how we can leverage the power of whole NLP thing over there. So yeah, so that's a brief about me. I have a master's in data science. I did that in last year, and prior to that, I hold like couple of patents in NLP region. So that's a very brief about me. Moving along, what objective we are targeting today? So it's going to be about predictive analytics, or to be very more precise about this, like what predictions is, how machines is making a prediction that we are going to cover today. So that's very brief about it. Let's first understand the whole realm about data science. And talking about data science cannot start without talking about the data part. So let's first understand what data is and how the big size of the data is. So if you look at my screen, so you can see over here, like we started with a megabyte data. So if people who are sitting here might be from 90s era, can understand we were running with a floppy disk of 4 MBs, which can we just transfer the data 4 MBs, and now the size of the data becomes so humongous that we can't even think of. Like right now, earlier the floppy size what somewhere around 3 inches. Now with a 5 centimeter of a device, you can store like 1 TB of the data. So you can see like how the technological advancement is, and how the size, if you think about like traveling from 4 MBs to the zettabytes or petabytes, so how big or enormous this data is, and comprehending insights from this data is what's the trickiest part. You cannot, means nobody, if you do not understand the data more, or if you don't value the data more, you cannot brings out the insights which you're looking for. So there are a lot of false signals in it, which people are trying to which people identifies, and there are very good signals in it. Like if you know the power to how to massage it, how to play around with the data, that's the key insights in the data science part. So data science is nothing but just, if I say, it's identifying the right set of patterns inside your data, whatever you have. And as you know, the data is so humongous. So who can work on this kind of a data? How can we work on this? So there are various tools like Python, PySpark, SQL, and everything. I'm not going to into details of each and everything. I'm just going to talk about more, like what exactly this data is, what is happening in this data realm, and how we can take this power going forward. Now, if we talk about, you must have heard about this phrase, data is the new oil. But let me remind you, like it is like if you have a Tesla, do you need the oil? If you have, let's say, electric vehicle, do you need that oil? So the answer might not, answer might be you don't want it. So in that case, what happens? Similarly, situation in the data is a new oil for the company who understands what data they are sitting on, or the power of the data, or the right set of data. If the data set present to them is not right, then they can't do anything. So sorry for those companies. I have seen many companies which have the broken pipeline, which they don't understand, like data from flowing from A to B and how it is flowing. It is not that good. And that is where they are lacking the majority of the insights. And that is where what is happening is you are keep on missing on, like whatever the insights are, you are not able to make a proper evaluated decision which people are trying to make using data science. So data is oil, or data is the key to the future, but you have to have the right amount of data, right set of data, and it should be in a structured way though, so that you can query it and you can get insights out of it. By structure, I don't mean exactly the structure like a table data set, but yeah, data should be right, and whatever things we are expecting, it should be in that format. What format it is, like if I'm talking about text data, okay, so it should be in the textual form. It should not be in the numbers form, or should not be in an either form. It should be in the textual form and easily extractable. Let's understand like how this data processes from one domain to, sorry, one pipe to another, or how this data flows across various analytics platform to reach the right set of insights and reach the right sets of optimization parameters or parametrics which we can do or tweak or play around with, so that we can take the most power out of it. Let's understand that. First thing first, we talk about, like as you can see on the graph, the higher you go up the ladder, the more revenue, or let's say the more impactful it is. So that's the business value. Like if you're starting from the bottom, which is customer data platform, if you keep that data over there just in the customer data platform, it means nothing. So let's say you are running a some company and you don't have any kind of a data in front of, means you have all the data lying over there, but you do not know how it is lying, what models it's been into, like what tables it is in, like what format it is in. It's just a data lying over there. So you cannot do anything about that data. You cannot bring anything about that data. Okay. Then comes the operational analysis. Operational analysis, like on day-to-day basis, what is happening, what the data. Let's say you own a taxi company. Okay, so you will see like how many taxis are running, how many drivers are there, how much of them are moving from A to B, or how much are moving from B to C. So that kind of operational things you can see. Okay, what is happening right now. Okay, and it's a real time scenario kind, like you can see in on the real time what is happening. Maybe you want to do it later on, you can do it later on. Okay, but let's say if you want to do it on time, you can do it on the right time at that specific time. Okay, on the real time set. Then comes the diagnostic analytics. Okay, so what is diagnostic? Let's say something happened in your system, some drivers, or let's say your company is not performing that good. Then you want to understand what is happening. Okay, that comes from diagnostic explanatory analysis. Basically, you are trying to diagnose what is happening, why it is happening. You are trying to break into, like, you can identify what is happening. Okay, once you have identified, then you try to move into the planning and analysis phase. Okay, might be what you want. Let's say you identified a issue that at a particular moment the drivers were not there, not that many drivers. So what you try to do, you try to analyze, like going forward, what kind of a demand I am seeing, whether at a particular city, am I expecting a demand of, let's say, 5, but on someday I'm getting demands of 10. Then it becomes a problem for us. Okay, so then you have to do the right analysis. Okay, That is called your planning. You are trying to mitigate you are trying to mitigate your losses, or you are trying to look into what is going to happen in the future. That is what you are planning for. So a lot of companies you are right now seeing which are laying off multiple people, but why? Because they took a decision that they didn't do the right planning at the point of COVID. They expected that the COVID is going to continue for a long period of time, and hence they hired a lot of people, and that puts the stress on the companies, financial, and now they have to lay off. So that is not the right planning what they did. But as you trying to or aspire trying to become a data scientist, that's where your whole job roles lies. You have to plan it. You have to think about what is going to be in the future. So that is about the planning analytics. Okay, you try to plan like, okay, if something is going to go that way, that I should be aware of that, and I should equip myself properly for that kind of a scenario. Then comes your predictive analytics. Okay, so in predictive analytics, what you are trying to achieve, if you think about, in predictive analytics, you are trying to say, let's say you want to using the historical data. Okay, you try to assimilate like what is going to happen in the future. Okay, let's say you are sitting like in 2020, and you want to see COVID was happening, you want to see when you will be out of COVID. So you, based on historical data, you try to predict, okay, when the COVID get over. And how you are going to do, basically, like you will be looking into some kind of a historical trends. If I talk about like stock markets, okay, so in his stock market, what is happening is you are looking at the past data, performance of the companies, performance of other companies, performing of a stock, how it is moving on day to day basis, how the volume is moving, how the price is moving. So basically various factors you are trying to look into it, and then you are trying to predict like what is going to happen in the near future. It could be a long term future, but let's say you are just talking about the near future. You can do this using predictive analytics. Okay, once you have done the predictive analytics, once you have identified what your key metrics are or KPIs are, and you have predicted about them, then comes the optimization analytics. Okay, what you want to do in optimization analytics, basically you are trying to optimize a certain KPI so that your revenue could be increased. Or let's say you can tap into a new market. Let's say you run a campaign company is nothing but, just think about an ad company. Okay, you are trying to identify like show the ad to the more, you would say, the audience which have the purchasing power to do that. Just talk about like business like YouTube. You think like, that is, YouTube is generating money through the people, but think about, they have the best recommendation system right now available to them. If they optimize it for the ad revenue, which they also do it, so they can show the right person the right ad. So understand the power of having the data, getting the insights from the data, and then pushing it to the customers. Basically, if you have the data, if you got the nerve right, you are going to make a lot of money in that case. Okay, or any business could make a lot of money out of that. So that is comes to the optimization part, how you can optimize this wherever you are spending, how you can get majority of the dollar value out of that. Let's come to the prescriptive analytics. Okay, what is prescriptive? Like, once you have done this predictive, once you have done the optimization, then comes your prescription. Like, you are trying to give, let's say you go to the doctor, doctor looks at you and tells you, okay, you have the fever, you have to do this, you have to do that, then you will be good. Okay, similarly, this is the prescriptive analytics. Based on whatever the predictions are, based on whatever optimizations steps we have identified, then we are going to prescribe something. Okay, do this, do that, this will help you, that will help you. So as you see, like, we started with the raw data. Okay, we have to understand first what is raw data is. Then you started a little just understanding like what is happening at various places. So basically there comes the part of the SQL. You just try to understand what data is. Then let's say you identified some kind of a issue. Then you try to understand why that issue happened, why it happened, what happened, when it happened, where it happened. So a lot of WH families comes over there whenever we talk about diagnostic analytics. Similarly, then planning, just you do the planning part, like you try to assimilate what is going to happen in the future. You just try to do some kind of a bit of a planning. There comes the predictive analytics, where you are just doing big ML stuff which you are going to work on, then optimization, and then prescriptive. If you see this chart, like, this chart is like, no matter in whichever industry, in whichever company you are working in, everywhere exactly same kind of a set of a problems lies. Like, let's say if you're working in a food industry, so in food industry what happens is, there is an operational cost. Okay, you do the operational analysis, then again diagnostics, then planning. You talk about like any healthcare sector company or insurance company. So insurance company, again, they have the customer data, then goes into operations, try to understand like which city, which zip code, or which kind of a urban city, rural city, what is the distribution of the customer, what is the spread of the customer, how much they are spending. So these kind of things they do. Then they try to assimilate, okay, where we are making losses. So basically diagnostics they do. Then the planning stage again. So similarly, the whole story is the same, no matter whichever industry you are in, whichever company you are in. So think about from that perspective that if you think AI is just going to revolutionize the IT world, that's completely wrong. AI is going to revolutionize each and every realm the human touches. No matter wherever you are, now you see DeepMind is working in some kind of a company, like some kind of a genes which can eat plastic. Okay, so now we are at the gene level, or we are at the what do you say, like bacteria's level. We are using AI for. If you talk about just for insurance optimization, even we are working for that as well. Okay, so this is the exact thing what happens in the business world, and this is where like AI is touching each and every realm everywhere, no matter which part, which industry you are part of. Having said that, let's jump into like our main topic of today, which is what is predictive analytics. Okay, so predictive analytics, like I said you, like it is nothing but just looking into the past, understanding the patterns, understanding the type of situation happened, and then learning from it and then moving ahead. Okay, this is just the broad view I have said to you. Like if you go by the definition, looking into the historical data using statistical methods and mathematical methods to predict or to forecast what is going to happen in the future, what is the potential scenarios you can see of. Okay, that is what we are talking about. Example could be like, let's talk about like you are working in a warehouse company. Okay, or let's say you're working in some big company, any, let's say you're working in an automotive company. Okay, where you have autonomous driving available over there. Let's say a part got faulty, so you have to predict that part, like when it is going to get faulty. Let's say a machine is running, you want to tell them, okay, if you supply this much amount of electricity to it, it will fault out. Okay, or it will give you a fault, and it will broke the machine. So that kind of a scenario you want to identify. How you can identify it? One, you should be like the master of the field, which nobody can be. Okay, second, you will look into the historical, like when I have given this amount of heat or this amount of electricity to this machine, has it broke? And whenever it is broken, you are identifying those points, and then you are making a model of it. Let's say if the load is this, if the temperature is this, if the electricity is this, and it has been running for this many hours, then it should break at this particular point of time. So that kind of a predictive analytics you want to do. You want to tell the business that this is the future, this is what is going to happen. So basically living in the present, looking at the past, making prediction about the future. That's what the predictive analytics is. Okay, so it's like joining the whole time series, or joining the whole time. Like you are sitting in the present, you are looking into the past, you are making predictions about the future. So that's the thing which we are going to do in the predictive analytics. Now, this is very broad, which I told you. Now let's think about like how it is being done. What is the process of doing this? Okay, which is why you are here for. So what is learning as a process for the machine? Like how is it look like? Okay, so on the left, you can see on the very left, let me just turn on the marker. Yeah, if you see, this is the real world. If you can, so in this real world, the data is very chaotic. Okay, you will agree with me that if we talk about any simplest data, it is very chaotic. It becomes really chaotic in real world. Let's say even just we talk about like if we ask people to write their names, first name, last name, and their addresses, people like do a lot of mistakes in that. Might be they are adding two names together, might be they are starting with a hyphen. No matter whatever it is, lot of things will get messy whenever we are working with the real world data set. Okay, so real world, what we are talking about, it's a world in which we are living, not the computers are living. Okay, for computer, they don't understand our world, so they understand it with the help of some kind of a tools which enable them to interact with our world. Okay, so think machine as a machine. It's not a human being, it's not doing anything. What they are trying to do is they are trying to, using some kind of a sensors, they are trying to interact with our world. This sensor could be a keyboard, like right now you are writing something. Okay, that can be a sensor for the machine. Let's say they have some kind of a cameras, they are seeing to us. Okay, what they see and what actually it is slightly different. Okay, we see means whenever we see on the computer that something is moving, we can identify this is car, this is bus, this is human, this is motorcycle, this is child, this is anything you can identify. But for machine it's just some pixel values. Okay, so that is what just a machine sees. Let's say if we talk about this mic I'm talking to you with, for machine it's just a signal which is propagating, but for you it's my words. It has some meaning out of it. Okay, which machine can't understand right now. What machine can only understand that this is the signal which I am sending to you and you want to hear, so this signal should transmit it to you and then you can hear about it. So that is the sensors. We interact with the sensors, and the machine is interacting with our world using the sensors. Okay, so this is what it is. Now, moving from the sensors, now the data has been stored using those sensors into some kind of a databases, into some kind of, let's say, some kind of a storage space, we save it. Then comes the part of the pre-processing. Okay, pre-processing is nothing but just think about like you understand your world better, but the machine doesn't. So you want to make them understand your world. How you can make them understand? Let's say you have the first name, last name. Okay, so you will tell machine some kind of a hint. Okay, this is something which is a string, which is just a name. You don't need to focus. You need to focus just like that. Let's say you give a machine a date. Okay, now you have to understand, like, weekend means something for that particular day. If it is a weekend, might be people are more outside rather than working in their offices, so you have to tell the machine that this is a weekend. For machine it's just a date. It doesn't mean for machine it doesn't mean anything, but you have to tell them, okay, this is the date, this is a month, let's say a May month or a June month. Okay, so my May month could be a hot for you, or a summer season for you, or winter season for me. So you have to tell them this is winter, this is summer. So by this, you are transmitting your knowledge to the machine. That's where the process is called pre-processing. Okay, and also we call it as like EDA step. Okay, exploratory data analysis, what we do in this predominant, this is like 2 3 steps mixture where we try to impart the knowledge, also we try to reduce some kind of a noise out of it. How can we do it? One of the steps is like you can reduce some kind of a noise using feature eliminations. Okay, which features you think is not working, feature selection, those are the things which you can identify. Okay, this we should not pass it on, this is not passing any kind of a signal, this is just a junk, or just a noise, you can say. Okay, then comes the, after these two steps are done, data dimension reduction, means, which is dimension reduction is nothing but just a selection of the feature or removing the noise part. Okay, so dimensional reduction and pre-processing are the major component where you try to give as much as knowledge to the computer and try to take away whatever you think is as a noise, you take it out. Okay, then comes your model, which sits over here where you are trying, where it has written production. It's where your model is residing. So here you talk about the model. Model is nothing but just an AI software. Okay, just think right now as a software, which is, it is just a mathematical equations at the back end. So just a mathematical equation in the back end, that is where the AI sits, or the ML parts or the deep learning part sits. And from here you are trying to make some kind of a prediction out of it. Okay, and after you make a prediction, then you thought about or talk about like what model selections is or different things about that. But till this part we need to main focus. Here we are making the more prediction things. Okay, here we are doing something. Once this step is done, once you identified, okay, everything works like whatever you expected, then you select whatever model is working best for your scenario, and then you take it as analysis. The moment I say model, don't get disconnected. Model, nothing means it, just think about just a software you built out or some kind of a AI has built out. Just think about that, nothing else. Okay, now when I told you about that, this is pre-processing, this is dimensionality reduction, this is prediction, you might be thinking, okay, what is this jargon is about? Basically, what I am trying to say, machine is taking data from the sensors and it is looking into the patterns, what kind of a pattern it is. Is there any kind of a pattern building up? So that is what we machine tries to identify. Machine doesn't know, like you are talking about some name, machine doesn't think about this is male, this is female. You have to impart that knowledge. Then machine out of that takes a pattern, identifies a pattern. Let's say, let's talk about like whenever there was a research done, like whenever you are hungry you make many impulsive decisions. Okay, so that kind of a pattern has been built out. So let's say talk about the Google or YouTube. Okay, in YouTube what is happening is you keep on jumping from one video to another video, then from that video to another video. So what is happening is machine is learning your pattern, how you see the video, what titles you go for, what is in that particular video, what that topic it is about. Then machine shows you next topic related to that. So this way what is happening is you are telling machine about your personality. Okay, and this way Google is, or let's say YouTube is, or anybody is able to assess how good you, or sorry, assess like what is your liking pattern is, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, what you don't want to see, everything. There is a pattern which machine is capturing, and based on that particular pattern machine is doing their game. They are recommending you, okay, this is what you want to see. Might be that's not your choice, that machine has chosen for you. So be aware for that. So machine basically is looking for the patterns, it is not looking for anything else more than that. Now, this was all about like what machine is, how data is interacting, how data is getting generated, what things you can do on the data part. Now, talking about the ML stuff now, core ML, algorithms in the ML. Okay. When I talk about algorithms, again, it is just a simple mathematics. If I tell you like if you know till very elementary kind of a mathematics, and if you have the right brain, if you think you are that much knowledgeable in the sense of you have a right brain within your set of ears, then you can think of, okay, whatever is I am teaching you, it's making sense to you. Okay, it's very easy, it's not that complicated that you think about like ML is very high level mathematics. No, it is not. It is very very basic. Like I'll just give you an example, you will be able to catch it up. Let's talk about like a ball is moving in one direction. Okay, the moment you apply a gravity it will move into the second dimension. That is it. That is the mathematics you need to know, like how the multiplication affects, how the addition affects, how it is being done. Just couple of things, just the intuition part, you catch it up. ML is very easy to understand. The people struggle is about they don't practice it. The more you practice the easier it becomes. Okay, now let's talk about the core algorithms about the machine learning. So there are three types of machine learnings basically available in the market, and till now we are able to explore. One is supervised learning, then is unsupervised, then the third one is reinforcement learning. Supervised is you know what you want. That is just that. So you have the data. Let's say you want to say or you have the data. Whenever I say data, you I mean a historical data. Okay, let's say you want to predict whether a person is going to make a purchase or not. Okay, so looking at his history, how many times he has been on the website, what all tools or what all things he has searched for, how much amount of discount I have shown to it. Based on that, you are trying to take a decision whether this person is going to make a buy decision or not, whether he is going to buy it or not. Okay, so that is like you know what your outcome is going to be. Okay, whether it is going to buy or not. So that is called supervised learning. You know what do you want. You understand there are only two possible outcomes you are looking for. One is either the person is going to buy or not. That is it. Okay, when we talk about unsupervised learning, we are talking about, okay, I don't know what is in my data. I don't know what is as an outcome I want. What I want machine to do is identify some kind of a pattern in my data. Okay, it is not that you know what is the final outcome is going to be. Just you know that if machine tells me like this is some kind of a pattern is there, I am very happy to do that. Let's talk about like what could be that. Let's say
Guys, seems like there is some technical issue. Give me 1 minute. I'm just trying to figure it out. Thank you.
You are just expecting two, it will give you three, or it will give you four different kind of scenarios, like people are happy, not happy, dissatisfied, or neutral. Okay, so they could be, it could give you four scenarios, but you don't know. And those scenarios you need to identify what is exactly that scenario is. So that is called unsupervised learning, where you are trying to just identify what is the pattern in the data hidden, just you are trying to identify. Third is about reinforcement learning. I am pretty much sure everybody heard about this kind of a chat GPT right now. It is kind of a reinforcement learning. Okay, basically the whole set and whole things are made up like that way, that a prompt is been shared with the machine. And if, let's say, it's just like training a kid. Okay, if a kid is doing something good, you are offering a chocolate, and if he's doing something not good which you don't like, you are punishing them by, let's say, not giving them the chocolate, or by scolding them. Okay, so reinforcement learning is like, if the machine do the desired thing, you give him a reward, otherwise you take out, or otherwise you penalize it. So that is reinforcement learning. So just to summarize, supervised is when you know what your final state is and you are able to classify it. Okay, there is one or two or three outcomes you want. That is where the supervised learning is. When we talk about unsupervised is you do not know what you want, but you are trying to say to the machine, just identify me something, identify some kind of a pattern. I'll look at it and then I'll take a meaning out of it, but I don't know what is there in the data. So and reinforcement learning is when you are offering, when you are like training a kid, like just you are rewarding for a good nature, and not means, what do we say, I like punish the person for not doing the good. So that is what a reinforcement learning is. Now, having understand this, our realm lies in all of the three. It's not just one, means the AI and the ML which we are going to talk in the future. It's not just one of the two or one of the three. We are talking as a whole. Okay, so now let's jumping into the future part. So there is, first thing first, like forecasting. Why I picked this one, forecasting models, for you? Because it is very, very easy. You might be able to relate it. Many of you are might be working in some kind of industry where these kind of things have been used, or just it is very easy to understand. So I am just trying to show like how easy ML is. Okay, like moving averages. If I say you like price of like one commodity, not commodity, let's say one product. Okay, if it is on an average every year, this much is the price. So if I ask you like last three averages, what was the price of the particular product? So you can easily say, okay, last 3 years, this product is revolving around $50, $20, or $30. Okay, so this is called like moving averages. Like in 2020 till 2023, it's one window. Then from 2021 to 2024, it's going to be another one window. Okay, so this way you are just sliding the window year by year, and just you are keep on saying, okay, this is the price, this is the price. So this is a type of forecasting. Based on moving averages, you can make some kind of a prediction about the future. Okay, now there is another scenario, is the weighted moving average. Basically you are trying to weigh something, like if something is happening, you are trying to weight that thing to the moving averages. Okay, let's say some kind of a scenario. It is you launch something new and you are trying to weight it. Okay, this is going to, weight is nothing but giving the importance. Okay, so giving importance to some kind of averages, that is called like weighted moving averages. Okay, now exponentially smoothing models, like you are just smoothing it over the period of time. Let's say if I am looking at a stock price at a seconds level, you will see a lot of fluctuation happening at every second. But let's say if I deal it at a monthly level, then you will see, okay, in a month, just one single candle for that, or one single point for that. Then it will be for a month, just a single point. It will tell you the average price for that entire month. That is just a single point. But let's say if I look at a seconds level data entire month, you will see like every second what is the movement. This might be like this much. So movement is there. So this is called the smoothing, exponential smoothing, which we are trying to do over here. So these are very, very smooth, means very, very easy mathematical tools to understand. Moving average is nothing but taking last three averages, last four averages, last five averages. So this is just moving one by one, one by one. So you can think of like this is this easy, this ML part is of the forecasting of moving averages. Having said that, it is not just like that, that these are the only things. We'll see going forward what complicated ML is and how you can get about that. But going forward, without means without talking about these three components in the forecasting, it's not the good way to start. So first thing first, like you see the seasonality patterns. Okay, so in order to think about moving averages, how moving averages work, you think about, okay, there is a seasonality pattern, there is a constant pattern in the data. What is seasonality? Seasonality basically like sales of ice creams always picked up in the months of summers. Okay, whenever the summer is approaching or whenever the summers are there, their sales are high. Whenever the summers goes away, the winter comes, the sales of ice cream goes down. So this is seasonality. Like with the season, it is going to change. That's why we call it as a seasonality. Then let's say talk about the trend pattern. As you know, like year on year, the ice cream sales are going up and up. Or let's say as the population in a country increases, the number of cars used in a country increases. So that is what we call it as trend pattern. It is keep on increasing. That is the trend part. Okay, and then there is a constant pattern, or you can say a something kind like a horizontal or flat line which will lies like some kind of a noise over there. Okay, so these are the three components which makes the forecasting, which is being captured by multiple models in the forecasting part. Now jumping to the predictive analytical part. Okay, that was the forecasting. Now we are going to predictive analytics part. Now here it's the core component of the ML. Okay, these are the things which are driving the whole ML decision or machine learning decisions. So if you see, there are four things in front of you. First thing is decision trees. Okay, this is the most powerful machine learning algorithm known to us till now. There are boostings as well, but those are the extended parts of the decision tree. So I'm not means decision tree, you can think of it's the most powerful one. Then we talk about neural networks. Okay, this is again a new type of, not a new means it's a more advanced version of decision trees where you are trying to make some kind of a network which can understand about, you can think of neural network as your neural brain. That's where the neural name come from, basically the neurons of your brain. Okay, so how the brains work, exactly same similar fashion the neural network works. Okay, then we talk about cluster models. These are models which we use in unsupervised learning, which tries to identify the pattern, what kind of a pattern it is hidden in our data. Okay, and then the time series modeling, it is nothing but just over the period of time how you are seeing or what kind of a value you want to predict in the forecasting. So that is time series modeling. Okay, with respect to time you are doing your modeling, or modeling when I say it's machine learning. Okay, so in machine learning, the software which is as a end you are providing to your customer, that software is known as a model. So whenever I'm saying model, that means that part. Okay, so now the first two comes for uh, from the this predictive analytics. This one, cluster models, is about identifying the pattern, so it comes from unsupervised one. The time series one, it is again coming from the supervised one. So let's move ahead. Now, till now what we discussed is how the things are, how the things look like. Okay, but now let's talk about what exactly means how this we use this predictive analytics. Let's say we have done it, we did the modeling and we did everything. So you can see predominantly every industry it is touching, like forecasting. Forecasting is nothing but like predicting the stock price in the future, predicting like what is the going to be the price of the gold in the future or the oil prices. That is called forecasting. Credit scoring, it is basically like how likelihood you are going to make a default. Okay, that is called your credit scoring. Fraud detection, like right now like many people are trying to do fraud. Let's say it's a financial fraud or it kind of any kind of a fraud. Okay, even using machine learning predictive analytics you can do that fraud analytics, though despite this is a very challenging one. So despite having very less amount of data available to us, but you have to do that, and machines are very good at picking up the pattern. So hence fraud and fraud detection is the one of the key areas where banks are using machine learning so aggressively, I can't tell you. Supply chain analytics, let's say you want to analyze like where you can make a change, or let's say you want to just understand like when a particular product is going to be out in your warehouse, when it is going to be out, when it is going to come in, or let's say when it is going to be out of stock completely. So that kind of a thing, even machine learning or predictive analytics helps you to do that. Now moving about the benefits of analytics. Okay, so you have fixed all the broken pipelines in your data, or let's say you have fixed everything in your business. Then obviously the improvement comes in. How could be the improvement would be, let's say if you are working in a production company, so there the production improvements will be there. Might be you have reduced the cost of electricity, might be you have increased the productivity. How you have increased it, might be you have just fixed, like you have predicted whenever the machine is going to die, so you give them, or not die means it is going to be get broke, then you are fixing them before then. So that kind of a analytics, that kind of a predictive analytics, if you have, you can improve the efficiency of the production house. Then gain the advantage over the others. Let's say you have a competitor, you are a brand A, you are running some kind of ads, and people are not looking at your ads. Why? Because you are, let's say you are an adult company, or you are making product for adults, but your ads are being consumed by the people who are not just the people you, those your ads might be consumed by the children. Then in that case, they are not going to buy your product. So by identifying the loop, or by identifying there is a gap between your campaigning strategy, is you can take over advantage over your competitors. By how? Like you are pitching your ad to the right customer, then reducing the risk. Let's say you are a bank, you don't want to give to the loans to the defaulters, looking at the credit score, looking at their patterns of using the credits, using their, like how responsible they are. Based on that, you are trying to reduce the risk. Okay, so there is a lot of things using, means the benefits of predictive analytics is, that's the whole reason why the whole world is running behind this ml ai. Means just a couple of days back, Google even announced, so the keyword you might have been heard over there is ai. So basically they are integrating ai everywhere, no matter wherever it is. Okay, and this is like the list is going on and on. You can see the areas of application of ai. This is just a bunch of list which where what I have put in front of you, like evidence based medicine. Okay, so people are looking into that, people are using ai to build new medicines, even to give some kind of a remedy, or to test whether these kind of medicines are going to be helpful for what kind of a person. So even that we are using. Supply chain already I have talked about, like say credit crime prediction and prevention. Okay, like we can identify like what are the crime zones, what people show that tendency as a crime. Okay, let's say right now every country is monitoring whether the person is using the phone while driving or not. Again, while driving, if you are using your phone, it's a crime. Okay, don't do that. Okay, to prevent that, you are penalizing higher, means governments are penalizing those people higher. So even crime prediction, it helps you. Okay, and let's not, this is not just the area I told you, but again, even in politics it is being used. So this is the famous quote by the Cambridge Analytica. Might be you guys have heard about it. It's been in a while, means it was there in news, so to say, like 6 or 7 months back. Okay, so they said pretty much every message that Trump put out was data driven. Okay, so Cambridge Analytica putting that, Cambridge Analytica was an analytical company, and they were very good with their businesses. So if they are saying that, even the campaigns are being run by that. So even the politicians are paying attention to this. So if politicians are doing it, hence you should be. Okay. Now, how, let's see about like some of the brands, how they are using it, or might be you already know they are using it. So let's talk about those. Everyone might you have heard about the name as Walmart. I don't know whether you know that US businesses or not. So Walmart is one of them. Okay. So Walmart, like talk about like they have like tons of POS. POS is basically point of sale. Point of sale is basically like whenever you are going to a grocery store, you are making a transaction over there, and whatever the transaction you are making, that is known as the card transaction. Basically, I'm talking about that is called as point of source. Okay, so Walmart has, like in the past years, it was not on online. So now they are trying to move into online businesses. Okay, and their sales is phenomenal. 63% increase year on year growth they are seeing right now. in the online platform, how they are able to deliver it despite having Amazon, and despite so challenging e-retail spaces, like with the you have Amazon over there, you have Alibaba over there, you have like many companies are over there. Okay, so despite in such a competitive environment, how Walmart is able to break in even coming so late? The reason is like Walmart has point of sales data. Okay, from 40 years of running their businesses, they have that data, and hence they are able to generate like tons of data, and based on that they understand their customer better, and they are implementing that thing on their online stores, and hence they are getting whatever the values they are able to generate. Okay, so that's what about the Walmart is, how they are using this AI in their supply chains. Okay, so similarly, there is a company named as Hopper. Hopper is basically tries to predict you like this particular day, what is going to be the price of the flight. Might be you are able to save it. How they are going to do it? So let's say a pattern is there, like people who are, or just there is a no brainer. I'm just giving you the very basic example. Okay, so let's say if you are a person living in Singapore, okay, and from Singapore you are seeing flights originating from Singapore and ending, let's say, in US, or let's say in London, or let's say anywhere else. Okay, so generally people in this particular, I mean, if they are living in Singapore, they are going to work and in the time zone of the Singapore. They are not going to work beyond the time zones of Singapore. Let's say 3 a.m. of Singapore, people might not be searching from Singapore to UK. They might be searching for some other countries. Okay, so Hopper uses this kind of a strategy. They try to identify when the people are more engaging with the platform, and hence the price goes up. As you know, like the moment you start looking for multiple, let's say thousands of people are looking for same flight, the price goes up for that particular flight. Why? Because the company knows there is a traction for that particular travel, or there is a traction for people, or there are a lot of people interested in that kind of a travel. Hence, they increase the prices to get the better margin, to earn more over that. So Hopper looks into that kind of a pattern when people are less active, people are less looking for those kind of prizes, and then they are pitching it. Okay, look at this particular time. This particular time you will gain majority of the discount. So that's how Hopper is using it. Okay, then there is a zoo aquarium. I can't tell you list going on. I don't know whether you know about this part or not. So this is basically some kind of a means like with the national parks, there are some of the people who are selling their stuff, so, or they're putting stalls over there. So they are just trying to identify what are the seasonal patterns, what are the seasonal trends, and they're sharing uh, with the vendors, so that they can place their, let's say if they want to open the stalls on Sundays, they can do that. If the weather is going to be not that sunny, then they are not going to put the stalls out there. Let's say it's going to be rain, then they are not going to put there. So it is saving cost for the people, for the sellers. So basically how they are able to manage the stores outside the national park. So this is what they are doing it. Okay, IBM using, they have a Watson. If you do not know, IBM Watson is their AI tool. Okay, using that they are trying to identify whether a employee is engaging or not, whether they are looking for something, let's say out of the company or not. So basically churning problem. This is in classical machine learning, we call it as churning problem. So employee is going to churn or not. Okay, so this is what IBM is able to do it with their data, and then they are trying to identify if the employee is going to churn out. They are trying to find out the replacement, or they are trying to get the employer more engaged. So that's what they are trying to do. Similarly, Under Armour. So as you know, Under Armour is a very good brand out there for sports and athletes. Okay, so what they are doing is, along with their products like clothes, they're like their footwears and all those, they are also wearable gadgets they are making. And from their wearable gadgets, they are keep on taking out the data points. Let's say if person are running too much, or if the person is doing this, what's the heartbeat effect, what's the improvement in their health, what's the improvement in their, let's say, their sleep cycle. So a lot of data they are gathering, and based on that they are selling again those data point to you as a product. Okay, so let's think about like Apple right now. Okay, they keep on adding new features in their Apple watches. Do you know why? The reason is like they are tracking you, and then they are selling your data to yourself, packaging as a product. Okay, so the classical example is how they are able to identify like people are wearing mask or not. Okay, so initially means like if before COVID nobody knows there was a mask, but now after COVID everybody was wearing the mask. So Apple first took your data, then identified the pattern in your data, and then resold you as a product. So that's how people are doing it, and that's same how Under Armour is doing, is taking your athletical data or your physical data and then selling it to you by gathering or collecting those data from the app, from the products which you are using. Okay, so that's a bit very long, and this is the key takeaway. Like, predictive analytics, it's everywhere. No matter whichever industry you are working in, it is going to revolutionize that. It is going to generate a huge amount of money for you, or it is too much advantageous for the world or for the businesses going forward. So I wish you like this predictive analytics more. You try to build your career around this more, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Himanshu, for all the efforts that you put in. And I am pretty sure that our audience today actually liked the session too. Now, guys, moving forward, I would like to open the house for questions. Okay, so if any of you have any questions that you want to ask, anything that you want to discuss, want to talk about, feel free to go ahead and type it in the chat box, or let me give you the access to unmute yourself also, as you can do now, and you can ask any question that you have in your mind. Anybody has any question, feel free to go ahead and type it in. And in the meanwhile, while we are waiting for the answer, thank you, Himanshu, for this interactive session. Predictive analytics has been a boon to this industry, to a lot of industries. In fact, we heard about a lot of examples coming out of you. And perhaps this gives an idea. There's a lot of people who think, will data science be effective in multiple industries? Is it just like an IT job, or can I move from commerce, e-commerce, anything as such? So this should give you a brief insight. I have a question coming in from Joymer Castillo. What technologies are being used in data analytics? Is SQL, Python, and Excel? So this is a common question that we get a lot. There are, so when you go ahead and talk to a data scientist, if you talk to 10 different data scientists, more or less everybody will give you different suggestions, when it comes to tools, technology. So that's enough to confuse a lot of people. Okay, so this questions from Jumer is SQL, Python, and Excel. If he goes ahead and masters all these three, can he go ahead and make a career as data scientist? Himanshi, your take on this?
So data analytics, it's like, just if you talk about analytics part, or if you are just focused on SQL and Python, 90% of your battle is done. Okay. If you are just focusing on the ML, data science, anything, just 90 part is done if you know SQL and Python. You do not need to know Excel. Okay. But Excel is a phenomenal tool. You should know it, because not everything is doable in Python. It might take some time to write the code. So Excel is also a very, like, a basic level Excel should be required in every job in data analytics space.
Very well said. Another question coming in from Adibola Iyabo Betayo. I hope I said it right. I tried though. So the question is, how is predictive analytics work effectively in the basic education industry? So education industry, all right. So I'll just start it by a small quote from Einstein, that you don't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. And that's, more or less the thing. Because education has to be customizable, not everybody is at the same pace. So more or less recommendation, as I have been using a lot of it in the education industry. We use it at Exaltus also, in order to go ahead and recommend you what suits you the most and how you should go ahead and move forward. But again, let me go ahead and elaborate this a bit, and let me get Himanshu on this also. Himanshu, education industry, how does predictive analytics work in education industry?
Think about right now, like, ChatGPT is in front of you. It's a great tutor. Okay. You can just go and ask him, and it becomes a mentor of yours. Okay. So you can think of like a personal teacher always there to answer your queries. So that is like basic education sector can be impacted by AI. Or you can see like Check was one of the company which was answering the questions. Now ChatGPT is giving it, so Check is out of business. So basic education sector, within the next 5 years, it's going to be on the boom using AI. So that's my take on that, AI and the best education sector.
That is true. And we also use predictive analytics a lot, for our learnings and the courses that we have. We basically go ahead and try to understand what technology tools will be in demand in the future and try to get students ready for that. Ian James has a question. Can predictive analytics be integrated into project management seamlessly like Jira and other agile platforms? Himanshu, your take on this?
Okay, Jira and Agile platforms are basically to track the progress, whereas AI is to predict about the future. So you can take the data from Jira and all those products, thinking about like whether your team is going to make progress, how it is going to make progress, what kind of a roadmap it is going to be. So using you can take that help, but I would not say those are going to replace the platform, because platform, let's say you are talking about pen and paper, whether AI is going to replace pen and paper, the absolute answer is going to be no. Means it will be there, but it will tell you like what to write, how to write, or how to write a good essay. So yeah, that's what I can say about that.
Awesome. I hope you're satisfied, Ian, with that answer. I have another question coming, guys. We have a few questions. So I'll take all your questions, all right? Don't worry. Jim has this question. How do we determine what data, events, wider factors that we should prioritize?
Can you repeat? Actually, I can't
So he
see
wants
this
to
question.
know what are the data, what is the factor, what are the events that we should take in priority while building a machine learning model or a predictive analytics system?
Okay, so it depends on like you have to first understand like data
No
science
problem.
is nothing. It's not just about data you are thinking about. Like this is the data, just feed it and machine will give you anything. No, first you need to understand the business model. What business model you are going to build around, or what is the business model? How the things are flowing, and then how the things are going to get out. So you have to means that's the whole reason why AI is not taking any jobs, because there is a person needs to feed that this is the data, this is my business model, according to my business model give me the analytics or prescriptive analytics or descriptive analytics. Okay, that's where this course or predictive analytics course will be helpful for you to understand, okay, what data in what order, in what level, and what nitty gritty should be there in the data for the machine, so that the machine could understand it and give you the better let's say analytics on top of it.
That is very well said. And as Himanshu already mentioned, Jim, it depends. So why do we do predictive analytics? As we discussed in this whole session, there's a problem statement that you're trying to solve, right? So it all depends on the problem statement a lot. What are the fields, the parameters that are going to be, of more priority. Joey has this question. I am a newly licensed physician with zero knowledge about machine learning, but I am deeply interested on the topic. Any tip how to get started as a beginner with the only end goal using such technology in the field of medicine? Well, Joey, to be honest with you, I can tell you absolutely that I have trained a lot of people coming in from the biomedical industry, working on genomics or computer vision, a lot of those stuff. I'm sure Himanshu must have had his share of experience working with people coming in from the medical field also. And the course that we offer more or less does take care of all the needs that you need, in order to go ahead and, start as a medical practitioner. However, I can still suggest you, there are a lot of projects that I know, that our students have worked on, like predicting heart diseases, predicting diabetes, working on breast cancer. So there are so many fields that I can think of. Joy, let me get Himanshu onto this also. Himanshu, you must have trained a lot of people coming in from the similar industry. So what's your take on this for a physician with zero knowledge of machine learning, starting a career or benefiting from the power of artificial intelligence?
If I tell you like don't consider yourself with zero knowledge, because you already have the physician knowledge, and you since you want to break it into the medicine domain, so you have the knowledge. It's just you need to impart your knowledge to the machine. Okay, machine is just a tool, which where you like this predictive analytics is going to be a tool which is going to empower you to work in your field. So knowledge you are carrying. Okay, just an example I'll give you right now. The generative AI which you are seeing right now on the boom, it is being developed by a student who was learning just machine learning over there. Okay, so don't think about yourself as zero knowledge. Okay, everybody starts with some kind of a knowledge, and that is the bare minimum knowledge we need to have that about the industry. So I must say like don't think that way. And I can surely say like I have worked with many people who are working for who are from in the biotechnological region or in the biotechnological sphere, and we have able them to excel in their domain. Like I talked about like a particular scenario where DeepMind is working in on some kind of a uh, protein structures and AlphaFold if you look at it. So that is again in medical field it is going to be advanced. They are basically trying to understand how the protein gets folded in the 3D space. So that is where you can think about and look for yourself.
Yep, I have also provided a lot of sessions to people coming in from United Health Group, Optum, for that matter.
Yeah,
I know a lot of data scientists who are doing wonders in the medical field also. So I can absolutely tell you it's not something that you want to miss on.
yeah.
Going
That is
in
the next field.
2020. Yep, that is true. That
That
is
is
true. All right. Sina has this question: which university can you study at data science? Which university can you study at data science? I guess here she means that which university should I study data science from is what I'm getting. So there are multiple universities and colleges. It all depends. So there are multiple things, that comes into the picture. Geographically, which country you're located in, what are you targeting? You're looking for a full-time, part-time, what's your budget? But to be honest with you, data science is not about the degree that you get at the end of the day.
true.
It's more about the knowledge that you get at the end of the day. It's a relatively new field, so companies are okay with you having a more generic degree also, like computer science or IT, even commerce, doesn't really matter. See, we've been discussing this for a very long time now. Data science is about solving a business problem using data. You cannot solve a business problem until and unless you understand the nature of the business. So domain expertise plays very important. You need to be able to read the data well, not only perform mathematics onto it. So having said that, again, it's not about the degree or the university that you do it from. It's about the practice that you put in, the time that you put in, and the knowledge that you gain at the end of the day. Shiva has a question: which language tools will we use in this course? Well, primarily, Shiva, the course will cover Python. Okay, that's primarily what we deal with. You will be learning a lot of Excel, advanced Excel also, because that plays a very important role. For visualization, we will be using Power BI. So just to name a few, and there will be a lot of libraries that you will be learning. How can predictive analytics work in retailers and real estate? So Sunny has this question, Imanshu. He wants to know about the real estate industry. Okay, can somebody in real estate industry learn data science or machine learning or precisely predictive analytics? How can they use it?
If I'm not sure, like if you heard about the company name Zillow. Zillow was, I believe, a US backed companies that was having, they were trying to predict the prices of the houses. So you can think of like, if you know what is the going to be a price in a particular city at a particular moment going into the future, you can take that bet today and you can means you can just sit back and just wait for the appreciation part. So if you, but for that you need to know about how to make that prediction for the future. So that is where the key point lies. So even retail sector, means again and again we are saying no matter in which industry you are, everybody is going to get benefit from the AI. So
In almost all the companies that actually go ahead and offer for hotels. For example, Airbnb was almost going bankrupt before they decided to start using data science to its maximum in order to go ahead and revive their business altogether. Without machine learning, data science, Airbnb probably won't be the same as it is right now. Likewise, is the case with many other companies. Uh, I know, as a matter of fact, that there are so many companies which use analytics in order to go ahead and recommend you the best possible projects that are available based on your work, your budget, your office, location, each and everything. So there are so many ways in which data science or predictive analytics can be used in the real estate industry. There are a lot of case studies also that you can actually go ahead and take in order to go ahead and understand the work better. So yep, that's more or less it. Rahul Thurat has this question. Well, Rahul had a feedback for us also that he suggests that we should probably be using more visualization, which I take very positively, Rahul, and we will go ahead and try to do that going forward. His question is: what happens if an unexpected situation occurs? Predictive models may have difficulty using past data make accurate assumptions, in instances, the predictive systems may produce false predictive insights. Let me go ahead and type this message to you also, Imanshu, okay, so that you can see it in your chat also. So this is the message that I got from him. It would be great if you can take this question.
Yep. Okay. So this is exactly what happened in 2020. So companies were, let's say, expecting this is going to be the normal year. Then the COVID happened, and then everything goes out of the window. Uber projected, let's say, this year I will be making this much of profit because of this much of rides, but then they end up laying off multiple people in 2021. That's what, like, when the unexpected scenario happens, this is going to happen. See, making prediction about the future, sitting in the present, the best part is that you do not know the future, and the best part is you only have the past data. Okay, so if anything goes south, your model goes west. Don't worry about that. Business understands that. Then that's where, like, your understanding should be there, like looking at this particular data, how I can match the previous expectation, and how to minimize the error part between you and the model, whatever the model is telling, understanding by how the model works. That's where you can think about, like, how can you make that better judgment about recorrecting the course of the company.
And nobody can predict 100% accurate. If I can,
Absolutely.
if Himanshu can go ahead and predict everything 100%, he's probably going to be a millionaire, just by investing in stock market or something. So
Yeah.
that's how the world is. Prediction has their own pros. It has its own risks that are there, but the only thing is it's a more calculative risk that you face. The chances of failure are less. Nobody can guarantee success. Nobody can guarantee failure, but it will increase the chances if it is something data driven. So whenever we used to make decisions in the past also, the decisions were basically of two kinds. One is data driven, second was gut driven. Data science or predictive analytics gets gut out of the picture. So whatever decision you're trying to make, it's data driven, and the chances of success is a lot higher compared to anybody. And that is why data scientists are actually paid high, so that they can go ahead and predict better and better and better. And that's probably the difference between an amateur who just started and a guy, like Himanshu, has been working for 8-10 years. That's the thing. Joeli wants to know if we can provide the recording. Joeli, the session is being telecasted live right now on all our social media platform. That is YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. So I recommend you go to our YouTube page. You can follow us on social media also, all of you. And over there, you can go ahead and watch the recording for this and the other webinars that we have done in the past anytime. Thank you, Rahul. Zing Hao Lim, he has this question. In the future, as everyone uses AI and ML, will everything become more deterministic? That's what his question is. The future, what does the future hold for us? I'll type it in for you guys. You're typing in the questions directly to me, so Himanshu is not able to see them. So just make sure that you type it, for everyone or direct it to him also. Himanshu, that's the question. I just pinged you.
Okay. So I can give you this answer by thinking about, like, what happened during 2008 or 2000s period of time. The internet was very new. Everybody was talking it is going to take the job. Everything will be like nobody will be working in the future. But see, right now, everything just enables or taps the potential for humans to do something good beyond whatever we have thought till now. Okay, so think about AI is going to be there. It is going to advance your life, or it is going to enhance your work. It is not going to limit you, or it is not going to be a very means deterministic. Like, think about a life can never be a deterministic. You think about it is going in the right direction, but then it takes like some hunky dory mountainous and the peaks and the very way, and then you go out of the business. Absolutely. Like, nobody ever assumed that once Yahoo was there buying, about to buy the Google, but now Yahoo gone zero completely. Okay, means not even zero, means like it is substantial, but Google is much bigger than Yahoo. So never, it's means life never is going to be predictive. Don't worry about that.
I remember back in the day, 2009 was the year then I also graduated. It was probably the worst year because we were facing recession and there were
Yep,
hardly
yep,
any
yep.
jobs. So I do not want to relive that moment once again. However, with Google and all the search engines coming into the picture, this question may sound ridiculous to you guys today, but it was a pretty big question back then. Will we need teachers if Google can answer all the questions? That was a question that came up, and a lot of people were asked. Actually, I even remember reading a news article about it. Do we still need teachers? You can go on the internet, search and find answers. So that question is again coming in today with chat gpt coming into the picture. If chat gpt can go ahead and give you everything, ai can give you everything, do you still need teachers? Okay, so questions like these are always going to be there. Okay, we have a lot of data as we go right now compared to what we did 10-15 years ago. So obviously decisions are going to be more data driven. But understand, even if you give somebody a ferrari, it's a person who's driving at the end. So it will all be driven by the person to make sure that it's being done for the greater good, for better, and that's more or less the case. So the answer to your question is more or less yes, Zing. But again, same things will happen in a more appropriate way. That's it. Shiva has a question from when classes will actually start. So we have batches starting every month, Shiva. So you can probably go ahead and connect with your counselor, and they will be more than happy to assist you. I will arrange a call for you. You can go ahead and wait. You'll probably be getting a call maybe on Monday from one of my counselors, and they will go ahead and assist you with this. All right. Anybody else has any more questions, guys? All right, while we are waiting on questions, let me just go through the social media pages also. Sometimes we get a lot of questions over there also. Just want to make sure that we don't miss on any. In the meanwhile, if anybody has any question, feel free to go ahead and type it in, guys. Okay, I have Reshma who's watching us on LinkedIn. She has this question. I am not a degree holder. About after the course, can I get a job with big companies? So this is a common question that a lot of people come across. So I don't have a master's degree or I don't have a bachelor's degree. How hard is it, Himanshu, for somebody who is an undergraduate or just a graduate, not a master's degree holder? So this question has two parts. To start a career in data science, you must have taken interviews for a lot of them. Probably you have colleagues who come from the same background. So what's your take on this?
I have a colleague who did their who did their bachelor's in legal. I forgot like what exactly it is. It's she's in legal. She practiced as an advocate, and then she moved into AI. And what right now she is building as a product is, now she is the owner of a company, and she's building a product which can, like, whenever the scenario comes to in front of a person, they can write down their scenario, and based on that, the model is going to tell you like what kind of a legal step you can take it. Okay, so she started as a counselor or a advocate, then she moved as a AI developer. Now she's holding a new product in front of the market. Okay, she's in Canada right now, and she's doing phenomenal in that space. Okay, so this is one part, like from domain, how can you shift it? So it's just the knowledge which you are imparting, and since AI is going to touch each and everything in the hemisphere or on the earth, so no matter whichever knowledge you have, it is going to be helpful for that. Second part to it, like graduation degree, undergraduate, masters, postmasters, PhD, whatnot. I know people right now working in AI research who did their masters in philosophy. Okay, so don't worry about that, like what degree you need. Why I am saying, because right now there is a shortage. Whenever there is a shortage, there is a high demand for that. Okay, and whenever there is a high demand, so people who just know enough basics will be get hired by the good companies. Okay, that's what right now happening is. So data science, even if basic SQL, people companies are willing to upskill you. Okay, companies are willing to pay money for you to learn from somewhere else, but they want you to be there in their company to solve something. Okay, this is the desperation of the companies right now. So think about from that perspective. You do not need to think about like degree, or you do not need to think about what kind of a baggage you are holding from your past. So don't worry about that.
That is very well said. The just to add to that, the best data scientist that I've ever worked from, he comes from Texas. Now that guy holds a master's degree in people welfare. So so you can imagine, the how hard it is. The best guy that I know when it comes to teaching full stack software development actually has done his bachelor in arts. Then he did his master's in computers, and then he
Even I did
started.
in electronics. I did it in electronics. I did my
So
bachelor's in electronics. Loved electronics. I never worked on computers back then.
same is the case with me also, electronics and communication. That's where I graduated. But again, that had nothing to do with data science. When I started working as a data engineer, I didn't even know what data engineering was all about. So more or less people who started during our age, back in 2008, 9, 10, we call ourselves accidental data scientists because we never knew that this is something that we are
Yep.
going to be, so that's again a thing. Sugat says, is there any free class? Well, you're absolutely in one right now. This was a free class for you. However, if you want to learn something in depth with proper structure, then we have paid programs for that. How to start to become a data scientist and be able to land a job? What course should I take? Well, Jan, that's an easy question. We have a 6 months data science course that we offer, which is 100% job oriented program. So you can absolutely go ahead and take that. You can call on the number mentioned on our website. You can chat with us. I can arrange a call for you, and we can understand where you stand right now, and we can go ahead and recommend you the best batch. And that's how we can get started. That's the plan. The only suggestion that I have for all of you who are planning to start data science: do not follow multiple people. Okay,
Yep.
if you go
True.
ahead and start learning from 10 different people, it's gonna be a total complete haywire. I don't want you to be a headless chicken, going in all directions. Choose who you want to follow, choose where you want to learn, and follow the process, the pathway that's being taken. If you start following 10 different people, it's going to be chaos for you. That's my suggestion. Okay, that's what I have learned or noticed in the past.
Even I have a couple of suggestions by the means whatever batch I have been into and whatever batch I have worked with. So I can give you like, if you want a speed up, take a course. Okay. If you want to just like you want to be a data scientist by the time you die, just follow multiple people. You will be there in the like when once you have died, like might be who will be there. So I can say that just if you want to
Here's the
speed
thing.
up the whole thing, do the process way. Okay, process in a process oriented way. That's how like
And
if you, yeah, please.
more or less, that's actually true, because in the world that we live in, knowledge is absolutely free. Nobody pays to learn data science. Okay, you can get all the knowledge on the internet that is available, but when to study what, how to structure it, learning from people's experiences, that's more or less what you pay for, in order to go ahead and proceed further. That's the reality. You don't actually pay for knowledge. It's the systematic way that you learn, that is what costs you money. And that's more or less the thing. If you study from Bill Gates, it's going to cost you more. If you study from Elon Musk, it's going to cost you a ransom. If you study from me, Himanshu, from us, it's more or less affordable, and probably we can go ahead and help you become a data scientist at the end of the day. That's more or less it for the day, I guess. I do not see any more questions coming up. I'll wait for another 10 seconds if anybody has any more questions. Otherwise, we are going to end this session. Himanshu, I would like to thank you one more time for taking out time. I understand it's late in Australia right now, where you're at. And thank you once again for taking out time from your busy schedule, sacrificing your Saturday night, in order to go ahead and give some knowledge to all the participants today. So, thank you. And looking forward to seeing all these students into the class going further. So thank you guys, thank you once again, and it was really nice connecting with all of you, and I hope to see all of you into the program also. Himanshu, any last words from you before we end?
First of all, thank you, Sanket. Thank you, Sanket, for conducting this session. And for others, like the only message for you is like focus on one thing. Okay, focus on the right thing, right path. Don't get like lost in the path of learning and things of learning and how to learn it. Okay, take the experience, take the right path, and do it in a very short amount of time. No, like there is no point of lingering around for too long to learn something which could be easily learned within like 3 months or 6 months. So my suggestion would be just follow advice of one person, one thing, follow it in a structured way, and you will become data scientist. Otherwise, data scientist, like till date, like data science has so many branches and affecting so many industries that you cannot master each and everything in just one go. So it's best like understand, get your fundamentals right by following in a right manner whatever things are required, and then go and touch every industry whatever you want. But don't think about like jumping into middle of anything and doing something. You will lose your confidence and you will lose your, I would say, like your interest in this particular domain. And it is like so vast that you cannot cover everything. Every day there are hundreds of paper are being published in this specific domain, so you cannot cover the whole breadth at any point of time if you do not start with the right equipments and right tools and right guidance. That's what I can say.
Well, that is very well said, Imanchu. And as a company, Exaltus, we have been working for the last 5 years in creating AI-driven solutions. So trust me when I say this, we know what we are doing, and we have designed the course in such a way that it can benefit people irrespective of you coming from whatever part of the world. We have students coming in from 60 different countries, more than 100 nationalities, and we have trained, a lot. And I can assure you that this course is absolutely going to be beneficial and give us a chance in order to go ahead and teach you what data science actually is. Thank you once again, guys, for being a part of this session. It was really nice connecting with you. Thank you, Himanshu, one more time. And on that note, this is me, Sanket, signing off. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Take care and stay safe. Thank you, all of you. Thank you,
Bye.
Himanshu.
Thank you. Thank you, Sangeet. Thank you, everyone.